Okay guys, so to determine if two triangles are similar, I use the AA criterion. And so criterion makes me think of criteria, something that has to be true in order to know if something's similar, is that it has to have at least two angles that are congruent. So in this problem, congruent, in this problem, they want me to decide if the two triangles are similar. So I really need to know if two of the angles are congruent. So far, I know that one angle is congruent, but I don't know if the others are or not. So what I want to do is I want to figure out how large this angle is. And to do that, I'm going to use triangle sum theorem, which tells me that all three angles have to add up to 180. So if I take 180 and I subtract 30 and 50 from it to see how large the missing angle is, I get 100 degrees. So you can see that N and R don't have the same angle measure, so the two are not going to be similar. And I know because the two triangles don't have two congruent angles, so they can't be similar. Okay, so in problem 6, I have two triangles that I need to find out if they are congruent. So what I see is one triangle with an angle of 65 degrees and another triangle with an angle of 65 degrees. I know that my angle criterion, my AA criterion, tells me that I need at least two angles that are congruent, but I only have one. If I look closely though, right here, these two angles are vertical angles. The ones right next to each other are vertical angles when they're across from each other like that. So I don't know how big they are, but I know that they're equal to one another because vertical angles are equal. So right there, that gives me my AA criterion. I now have two angles that are congruent, or two angles in the triangle that are congruent. So what I want to do, since I know that they're similar, is I want to kind of highlight the angles so that I can see the ones that are congruent to one another. So I know that K is congruent to N because they were the two angles that were left over. I know that J is congruent to J because they're vertical angles. And I know that M is congruent to L. So when I write my similarity statement, I want to write it using my matching corners. So I know that triangle, I'm going to start with the top one, and I'm going to go in order. N, M, J is similar to triangle. I'm going to go with the matching corners. K is my yellow corner. L is my red corner. And J is my green corner. So that would be the correct similarity statement. I could shuffle the letters around, but the green has to match with the green, the red with the red, and the yellow with the yellow. So I know that they're similar because two angles are congruent, which means the AA criterion works. I added an extra I in there. So if you watched this video, I want you to put a big smiley face next to problem 6 so I know that you saw the answer and I can give you full credit.